Well, Lil Buck, Sinegal, and Dr. John, who died last week, they left quite an impression at Dockside Studio in Maurice. Both musicians were frequent guests there and recorded several albums. Here's more in a story that you'll see only on 10. Dockside Studio owner Steve Nails says Dr. John and Lil Buck Sinegal were members of the Dockside family.
Cannot count the number of guitarists that Lil Buck has influenced, or Dr. John with the pianist that he has influenced.
Absolutely.
It's just, they're masters. They both were masters. This is a bad week for musicians.
Both musicians spent a lot of time at the studio. Dockside owner Cezanne Nails says Lil Buck was an iconic presence at Dockside.
He is the best. He can do anything. He's amazing. Actually, as a storyteller, he is probably tied with his talent in playing guitar, too.
They say Dr. John, who musicians called Mac, was a free spirit. He would use sage to clear the building of bad spirits and pray and meditate with everyone before every session.
He is really that person. He's not putting it on. He talks that way. He lives that way. That's just how he lives.
Now, the Nails have been reflecting on a lot of memories. About 15 years ago, Steve Nails says that Dr. John was here in the piano room when he called over the intercom and let him know that his piano was on fire.
And we had to rush in there and put the piano out because his cigar had, over the whole album, had went into the piano and caught it on fire.
Dylan Nails is Steve and Cezanne's 19-year-old son. Here's a picture of Dr. John holding Dylan when he was a baby.
You still get the same positive vibes from it when people remind you of it. I think that's really a big influence on why I do what I do now, playing music. Just especially him, Lil Buck, and everyone else who's passed through here.
When Dr. John saw Dylan, he was just like, oh, yeah. And then I said, so yeah, Mac, how many kids do you have? And he said, yeah, it depends on who you ask.
Now, the Nails say that Dr. John hadn't been to Dockside Studio in about 10 years. Lil Buck was there just a few years ago. Now, Dylan Nails says that he saw him perform at the Acadiana Center for the Arts just a couple of months ago.